Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Ha.
And I'm Corinne Foxley. We're here with Michael Alway at Bow Rev Equestrian, and we want to learn more about Michael and how he got his start.
Okay, thanks for
So
having
why
me.
don't you start off?
All right.
How did
How
you
did I
get
get
your
my
start?
Okay. so, oh boy. So I actually got my start because my parents bought a house next to a horse farm. So it was kind of like I've always wanted to be into horses, never had an opportunity until I was a teenager, and then they bought the farm, and um, after maybe I don't know a few months of living there, the owner just saw three boys, so he came over and offered us a job. So that's how we started, and then started taking lessons, and then kind of slowly evolved into teaching lessons there and helping with the training, and then led me down the path of natural horsemanship, and I started riding Western initially, got into the natural horsemanship, and then pursued that. So that was how I started.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
really interesting.
So, Michael, you are really well known for some of your horsemanship experiences and training. Can you talk a little bit about what somebody might experience in your clinics with that?
Sure. So I think one of the things that I try to do that's maybe different is try to give everyone more understanding on horse behavior and just how horses think and how they learn, and what matters to a horse, and how we can communicate more effectively with the horse. So whether it's a young horse, really, really green horse, a horse that's maybe having problems or has like trauma or history, or if it's a performance horse, there's kind of two avenues you can take. You can come to the clinic and help with a specific problem, and I'll try to explain, like, improve the horse's experience and maybe help him understand a concept, and try to explain what I'm doing. And then the other way that I'll kind of like focus is more on educating the student or teaching the student how to be better with their horse. And specifically, when I think of natural horsemanship, for me, it's how do horses interact in the field with each other. Not so much the traditional kind of marketed, groundwork methods or that kind of a thing. Like, I'm not trying to sell a program. It's basically every horse is individual and unique, but every horse speaks horse. So if the human can speak horse, and understand where the horse is coming from, then I think it sets you up for success in every area of horsemanship, really.
That's great. So with that idea in mind, do you want people to do prep work before they come to a clinic with you? Do you prefer that they just come as they are and you meet them where they're at? What is your sort of thought process on that?
To me, I would say as long as you can get your horse in the trailer, that's probably the biggest limiting factor for some people. No, there's no real prep work. You don't have to demonstrate anything or prove anything. Oftentimes, I'll even get people that'll bring a horse that's just a young horse, and they're thinking, well, I'd like to get him off the farm, and I want to go to an environment that's going to be constructive and educational. Obviously, if they don't know me, they might not know what we're going to work on, but anywhere from just giving that horse a good experience, and helping the owner maybe understand the horse better. Or it could be that, yeah, you have a major problem that you don't know how to fix, and you can come and bring your problem, and we'll try to work on it. So that's okay too. So no, there's no requirements or prerequisites. I always bring even my own equipment. So if you don't have the equipment, like if you don't have a rope halter, for example, or a stick or something like that, then yeah, I would have it.
So, Michael, how would you describe your teaching style?
So I would say typically I tend to focus more on the horse rather than the student.
Okay.
So I'm not as big into techniques or the nuances so much of like a rider, unless it's something that obviously interferes with their horse. So I'm not as familiar, or I should say, I don't put as much emphasis on like equitation or that kind of thing. What I try to do is focus more on the horse behavior elements, um, and things that kind of relate to that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it does, but I would add, Michael, you've come to Bow Rev Equestrian once a month now for probably 6 months or so, and we've noticed that you have a really positive interaction with not just the horses, but the different clients here. I think that a lot of the clients have really responded well to that positive energy
Right,
piece,
right.
and that there isn't really that kind of consequence maybe based piece that
Right,
sometimes you can see in some clinics, that you really kind of help people understand what their horse is thinking, what
right.
they're doing, and helping them work through those little tiny nuances,
Yeah,
with that herd
yeah.
mentality.
That's a, for sure, like something that I've, as a student or having been a student in an environment that was more negative, something I learned is what not to do as much as I
Sure.
learned what to do. And I find that as a learner, if I'm feeling judged or criticized or I'm uncomfortable or unconfident as a learner, that's not going to help me learn. And as a student, it's generally not my fault for not knowing something. That's why I'm there in the first place. And it's very similar with horses. When a horse doesn't understand a concept and they get added pressure on top of that, it creates anxiety, which is obviously going to be a huge problem if you're trying to teach them and build their confidence along the way. So yeah, I try to very much keep it positive. Everybody makes mistakes. I've done this long enough now where I could probably tell them the 3 mistakes they're going to make before they try the exercise for the first time. But that's because everybody does that, so it's normal. So just letting the student experiment, get the information, experiment, figure out what to do better, and just kind of more coach them along the way. Because a lot of it, every discipline, because I'm not discipline specific, every discipline, and rather you've come from a Western background or English background or horsemanship background, everybody has different traditions and experience and different things that they would never do or they would always do. And most of the time, I feel like good horsemanship is kind of similar throughout all disciplines. People are good with
Best
horses.
practices.
Yeah, best practices, for sure. So allowing everybody to develop their own unique style and tailor it. The main thing is the principle behind it and the concepts, which to me are the most important. Again, unless it's something that is obviously affecting their horse.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people just need to slow down.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Well, and I would say too, like, I know when I work with you with my horse at Liberty, the thing that I appreciate the most about your style is that it's kind of a conversation and you make suggestions based on, like, this is where you could take it forward, this is where you could start to refine some of these techniques. And I appreciate the discussion because I think it allows for better learning opportunity.
Right. Perfect.
So so if people come to a clinic, do you ever give them advice on how they can continue to create connection with their horse once they get home?
Right.
Like you help with some of the tools, but then as you know, what homework do you send them with, or what advice do you have to give them?
So usually I would say if somebody's never taken a clinic with me before, the first time they come, a lot of it is going to be kind of introducing a way of thinking, and obviously some exercises, but they're generally concepts that apply to everything you do with a horse. And the idea is to kind of streamline and kind of clarify the communication piece. So I have 2 different types of students. Some people, I'll come back the next month or I'll see them and they haven't done anything since the last time I saw them. And that's okay. We'll just pick up where we left off. There's other people, though, that will take it to heart and practice, and that's when you see a big change in the horse. Generally, obviously, as a teacher, I always want everybody to practice, and sometimes what ends up happening is you go and you practice, and it doesn't work because you struggled with this or that, and that gives you information, and then it helps you to go, okay, this wasn't working, and this was working, and that kind of thing. But I would say, as a general rule, basically, if the student leaves understanding their specific horse better, and can incorporate those little things kind of throughout, even if they don't say, oh, now I'm going to do a groundwork lesson once a week with my horse, even if they don't have time to do that or can't do that, hopefully that will at least increase their relationship with their horse and just build off of that. And depending on which direction they want to go, because some people really want to focus on, like, oh, I really love Liberty work and I want to focus there. Some people are saying, I just want my young horse to be safe. Some people are going, I just want my horse to not be anxious at shows. And it's like, I have no interest in doing Liberty or groundwork. I just want a result out of it. So depending on where the student wants to go with it, I think it's very individual that way as well.
So, Michael, if there was something that you would like to change in our industry, what would it be?
Other than GastroGuard being cheaper, you know,
Seriously.
I would say generally something that I wish was different. Not that natural horsemanship was more in the industry. It would be more that people that are learning to ride get more of an overall foundation. You know, if somebody's going to take lessons for the first time, instead of just getting on a school horse and just going around and, you know, learning how to ride, spending more time learning horse behavior, horse communication, like a bit of like psychology. Not that they have to become a trainer, but I think understanding the basic psychology of the way that a horse brain operates, right? We're predators maybe by nature, or some people don't think that humans are predators, but we have more of a predatory instinct in the way that we think. We're direct lined by nature. A horse is not that way at all. If I want to go get a drink at the water trough and there's a weird shadow, I'm going to take my time, and maybe I don't go now, and I'm going to go that way and around. And the horses very much think so differently than people do. And if I think more people in the industry understood how a horse's brain works, I think that would change a lot in the way that we approach horse training.
And I think it would solve a lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
Yeah, I think it would also lessen the expectation that a horse has to give you the exact response right at the exact moment that you ask.
Or be perfect.
Or be perfect.
Right.
So is there a type of rider or equestrian that you would like to see show up at your clinics more frequently?
Not specifically. I would say it's always nice when I have a learnaholic show up, somebody that really wants to learn. I can't say I prefer somebody that comes with a lot of problems or somebody that comes with a horse that is perfectly behaved. The biggest thing is somebody that is interested in learning. Of course, somebody can come as a skeptic, and that's fine and totally reasonable. But the more open-minded a person is to maybe doing something that they've never tried before, or experimenting with concepts that maybe aren't quite so direct line and go, but this is my problem, and maybe the way to fix it is different. Pretty much any open-minded student that has a happy, or maybe not happy yet, but a healthy horse, yeah, I love it. That's what I do.
Cool.
And last question. You've been able to participate at Bow Rev as a clinician, but also as a show competitor. Can you tell us a little bit about why it's great to come to Bow Rev for some of our events?
Definitely. For one, the people, obviously. You guys are great and super nice, and always very accommodating, very organized. You guys take really good care of the facility. One of the things that I like specifically about this place is you guys are performance oriented. Clearly that's like a main focus, but you have horsemanship as like the underlying priority, I think. And not only for the horse's well-being, but also for the students, safety, and all of the things that you guys do, even the way that you host your shows. It's really set up as less of a show environment and more of a learning environment, in my opinion. The student can learn, the horse can be better, and that's the biggest priority. In a lot of places you go to that are way more performance, kind of goal-driven or outcome-driven. And I think just seeing how the emphasis is about the process and just, yes, there's a goal and a destination, but the value of what we need to do to get there and the priorities is what I really like about this place. And you host natural horsemanship clinics.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks for coming, Michael.
Yeah,
we
thank
hope
you
to
so
see you back here again next month.
Super.
And with a great group of riders to work with.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank